Welcome to your weekly trading edge. In today's video, we will be discussing two pairs that's on our market movers watch list. Currently, we had GBPCHF and EURNZD. The first pair we will be discussing is GBPCHF. In a previous video, we went and explained and talked about a top-down analysis breakdown of what prompted us in our entry for GBPCHF. And today, this video is going to discuss about a brief progress of what happened within the trade within the London session and New York session. So if I zoom into the 1 hour chart, we can tell that unfortunately stop loss were hit. Stop loss were hit in the London New York overlap roughly about 5-6 a.m. and we were targeting a 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio. Let me jump up to the 4 hour for more clarity. We were risking 1% to gain 5%. We were targeting the minus 27 as our overall take profit due to the fact we saw some heavy resistance at the 1.08220 level. We typically like to target the minus 61.8, but due to finding this element on the market, we decided to pull back and target a more conservative approach. We actually were going to then move our stop loss to break even, targeting that previous high. But considering the market collapse, we did not get the opportunity to do so, and we were taken out of the trade. As I stated before, always remove the emotion from trading, always use proper risk management, and move on to the next trade. So, moving on to EURNZD, we actually saw a potential trade late last night in the Asian session. We hopped on for about half an hour to an hour. We noticed some structure being set up here, and we noticed that we were in an overall downtrend on the 4 hour time frame. We like to stick around the 1 hour for getting in and out, so you're just not in trades for more than a couple of days. I like to stay in trades for, getting in and out as fast as possible, or being in and out within like a day or two at the most, based on my hybrid trading style. So let me do a thorough top-down analysis of what I saw and what prompted me to get in the trade and how I actually got in the trade. We actually use a sell limit, not a manual execution order. So it's a little bit different. If you want to learn more about that, please leave a comment. More than happy to dive deep about those concepts. So first things first, I jumped to the daily chart. Let me delete everything just so you can see. Let me just jump to the hour so you can actually see where we were. The entry price was along this trend line. Within this completed move in this yellow box, we saw we didn't see price action. There was a sell limit here that executed the trade and prompted us to a short. So let me delete everything and get things rolling. So first things first, we went to the daily chart. We pulled out our trend line. We saw that price was in a uptrend. We saw that on the daily chart, price was making elements of higher highs, higher lows, take from this high to this low, higher low to this higher high, and giving us a bias of price going to potentially make a higher low and bounce in respect to make either an equal high or a higher high. So for me, right now, I'm focusing for the short term, and price is going to potentially target around this area to complete this move. And we can also see that we are above the 50 EMA. So another confirmation indicating that price will probably come to this level and respect as it did so in the past historically, once, twice, and 3 times. So for me, I am planning to short the move within the move. Moving on to the 4 hour, I then began to see what element we were. This is just more of a zoomed in element of where price is. We could see that price was in an uptrend, continuing to make these higher highs and higher lows slowly but surely. It's not as clean as I like it, but it's still prompting market structure for higher highs and higher lows. And eventually price stalled out, made this last higher high, made this higher low, failed to make a higher high. And as you can tell here, price, we had some market structure shift here where price decided to collapse and shift broke the trend line, broke the below the 50 EMA, now giving us an indication of we're looking for shorts and confluence to our daily time frame bias. So I guess I can leave it on there for you. So then what I did was I drew my trend lines from here, this tip of this wick to this wick to see what it showed me. Didn't really show me much there. I went to the hour chart. I actually then zoomed into this swing high here at this wick, and I drew my trend line to touch as many wicks as we could in this area, and eventually in the future, before price had printed this, price had respected this beautifully. So with that being said, for more clarity, I'm going to delete this other trend line, and this is another bias of why we decided to want to take a short. We also have price below the 50 EMA as well, and now I'm going to pull out my fibs. I pulled up my fibs, took it from this swing high to this swing low. We are right at the 61.8, which is one of the strongest Fibonacci zones. We call it the golden zone. Another strong confluence there. And I then wanted to look to see if the move was completed within the move of the retracement. So as you already know what I'm going to say, pulled out my fibs again. Got the fib trick. This swing low to this swing high. And we took it from this swing high. Price is coming up to trend upward within the downtrend. And our bias is that it's going to respect the trend line. We then pull out our tool to highlight the zone of the completed move, and this will help us keep remembrance of where we are in the market. We're going to delete these fibs. For clarity is no longer needed. We understand where we are. At this time, we are not going to be at our trading office. We had other things to do. It's getting later in the day, and I still wanted to execute the trade, but I didn't want to be sitting here staring at my computer for hours on end waiting for that perfect opportunity. So I decided, with the number of confluences, this is a good opportunity for a potential sell stop. A sell limit. And what I did was, considering all the confluences that we have here, and knowing how strong the 61.8 zone is, knowing the number of resistant taps on the trend line, knowing the fib trick that the move has been completed within the move, knowing that we're in a downtrend, we're putting a sell limit here, which will automatically put you in the trade once price hits this zone, hits this level. And we have to now understand where we are for our stop loss. So what I'm going to do is I went to my short tool and I put my tool here. And considering we're at the 61.8, I wanted to ensure we had some wiggle room here, considering we weren't going to be able to be monitoring the market, especially if this is happening through London, as I'm typically asleep at this time. So I wanted to do just outside the 78.6. I saw it was maybe roughly about over 30 pips. I don't really personally like risking beyond 30 plus pips or so. So if I could get it within 29 and still be outside that 70.6, that's more ideal for me. It's just because I want to ensure a quality trade setup with a quality risk to reward ratio. So with that being said, we'll see what this does when we pull our targets to our first previous low. And then we zoom out to the 1 hour chart. And just right here, if you're very conservative, very skeptical, we're still at 3.45. Typically, I'm going to move my stops to break even at this zone, considering what I saw on the larger time frame. And remember, let me jump to the daily. We have a bias that price is going to retrace and respect this trend line. You go to the 1 hour, we're nowhere near that trend line. So for me, I am feeling confident. I have multiple confluences, and even at the minus 27, I would probably take partials here, depending on how the candles are printing on a candlestick analysis basis. This could be a 50% partial, could be a 75% partial. It could very well be no partials if I don't have the ability to actually manually take that partial if I miss when the candle is in this area. But those are the different scenarios of how I would take a partial, and then I would let the rest run. And I know I said, you're looking for price to potentially respect this trend line here, but considering our rules, take profit 2 is always at minus 61.8, and that's our overall target. So we're not here to be greedy. We're here to execute, make quality trades, use proper risk management, and compound and capitalize on the market effectively on a daily basis. So those are my two analysis, my market movers for the week so far. And if you're liking these videos, please subscribe. It definitely helps the algorithm for me to grow the channel. And don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you. Bye.